Hello. This is my review of going into the internals of this gun. The Maple Airsoft Supply Blackout. Like a $400 Canadian, it's about $300 US. There's my engraving that I got for free. It's kind of neat. No step on snake. I don't know. Not a big deal. I already covered that before. Something I noticed right off the bat here too, I didn't notice before, is this piece right here. It's kind of wonky. Oh, it doesn't line up. Like, you can see that gap there. Like, you'd think this piece would sit flush with the other piece there, but not really the case. I mean, I guess it gets it done, but let's get into the gun. So, show you a full auto with an 11-1 semi. So, safe works. We have a barrel cover on the end too, so sounds pretty good. I mean, you've already seen 1,000 videos like that. I just want to reset the gearbox. I'm gonna fire semi a couple times with a 7.4. We'll do full auto too, but it's alright, I guess. So getting into it, it looks like this is a 2.5mm screw. Pretty firm on this guy, popping this puppy out. I'm just surprised that this doesn't interface this flat spot better, but not the end of the world, I guess. And yeah, there's a little bit of music going in the background, just kind of drown out whatever, and I got my windows open, so my biggest gripe so far is just that these iron sights are just hilariously garbage. Like, the back set here works. This front one, though, not for anyone. Like, pop that, nothing. They gotta pull that up, and then you can't get it. This one goes back down, but the back one, it just, you cannot, it just, like, look at that. It's not going back in there, like, not even close. So, whatever. These are, the iron sights are trash in my opinion, but I mean, who the heck really cares? It's airsoft. You're not really using your sights. Even if you throw a scope on there, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna set the lower off to the side for a moment. Not really, or the upper, excuse me. Not really gonna go much more into depth on that. You're gonna look at the barrel here. It's a brass barrel, the hop up. It's kind of weird. This looks like it's pinned, so it really doesn't come out. And it's kind of on the other side, so it's kind of like a design not to come out of there. That's kind of interesting design. So we will pop the O-ring off the back here. This this thing that keeps this keeper. This slides off. It's kind of just like a Pro-In. If Pro-In was made of plastic and didn't want you to take it apart, get this into there. Maybe on this side a little bit better. There she goes. Kind of tight. Seems like a good fit. So I'm gonna push down on this. I'm gonna assume. God, I don't know how the nub's gonna stay in there if I try to put this back in. If this piece doesn't want to come out, it just looks like it's flared. I'll see if I can get that out before I push. Oh yeah, it does go right out. Okay, it's not pinned. My bad. I was gonna say that'd be weird. So there's that pin. Here comes the arm. It's got a low nub on it. Pretty much a standard airsoft mumbo jumbo. Just kind of carefully try to get the barrel and bucking out of here. It is a tight fit in there, boy. I might tear the bucking trying to get this puppy out. She is fighting me. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. God, I don't want to tear it. I mean, I got more. Fuck it. If she buckles, she buckles. If she don't, she don't. Try to get her to go through. They got like some sort of lube on this on the outside here. It's definitely something weird going on there. It doesn't look like it tore it. See if I can't tear it, inverting it out. See what kind of nubs on there. Look at that, just your standard nub. Surprise, surprise. I'll slip it off the pen here so you guys can see better. Fun, easy way to inverse your buckings. A pen, it's grippy, it works. It's what I've been using forever. Yep, nothing special. Your standard nub. Gonna reverse this back to what it was. If it'll go. No, not feeling it. Okay. This is a disassembly video, so we're not gonna try to push it back together. Keep that stuff off to the side for now. It's got a little brass ring boy there. It's looking pretty good. Brass barrel, I mean, nothing special. It shoots accurately for the most part, kind of like any other stock gun. What could you ask for? Getting to the gearbox, it does look like the ZCI parts that they kind of talk about that's supposed to be in the gun. The closest gearbox I've seen to this one is the G&G, just like metal wise, just looking at it right off the bat. And I like G&G's gearboxes. You can see it's radii right there. How neat is that? So that's pretty good. But G&G, of course, if you've ever worked on one, has their hardware on this side, not this side. This is the standard side, I would say. G&G does their stuff on the other side. I like working on G&G stuff. That's going to lose this guy. Just set him over here. We're going to start getting into this. I'll pop the mag release while I'm at it. Battery, or the motor, is pretty magnetic. It likes to pick up stuff, so that's a good sign. Got a maybe quality motor in there, as they claim. So, oop, that's a flathead. Psych, you thought. So taking the mag release out of here. Normally I do the buffer first, but hey, whatevs. There's the mag release. It's got not my favorite style. Most of my guns I upgrade to like the real steel style, where it doesn't use this little Phillips screw. My least favorite would definitely be like King Arms' micro Allen. I mean, I haven't really stripped one of these out. Just the micro Phillips, little mini Phillips. But you know, it holds the mags in. It's when I was fielding it seemed like to do pretty much every mag I put in there. So we're gonna get into the buffer tube with our special screwdriver. We're going into the buffer tube. I'm going to kind of do this off camera, at least line it up off camera, so I can look down the shaft. I think we got her. This is a 24-inch screwdriver, aka the best way to remove your buffer screw and keep your hand out of frame almost. Well, unscrewing the buffer screw. I thought this wasn't, I didn't know how long 24 inches was, but my girlfriend doesn't know what 12 inches is. Hey-o! Okay. So, let's see what we got here. It's kind of one of those classic deals where you gotta like feed the wiring and then you can kind of get the thing back here. That's the one I don't like, is like G&G's. Yeah, like if you're trying to do a MOSFET or something fancy, you just get super messed up by this style. For those you know what I'm talking about, where you can pull the thing out so you can get your wires through the buffer tube pretty easily. I like that. I'm a fan. Not that that means anything to anyone. Looks like we got our MOSFET right here. It's kind of tucked in right in the back of the buffer tube, or the start of the FET, I would suppose you'd call. Little sling. Look at that metal. How neat is that? None of that Lancer Tactical cheap plastic shit. Lancer Tactical, my favorite. Let's get to the motor. Phillips screws, nothing special. I am kind of interested to see what they got holding the motor, if it's like motor tabs like most of them, or I recently really worked on somebody's GMP and had these little screws so you didn't have to worry about his motor coming off. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I got the standard motor tabs, nothing special. Just get in your belly. So we're getting into it. Taking this puppy apart. Get this motor out. It definitely does look like the ZCI motor. Oh, Yeah, it's got the, you can feel it. It's got the magnets. I would definitely say it almost feels like a balance motor. I don't know, maybe this is high torque. I honestly don't have one laying around to compare it. I mean, it feels like it's definitely neodymium. I think they advertise high torque. I got the link up here. What do they say on their site? They say 20 turns per hour. Yeah, high torque. Yeah, I would say that's what we got going on here. I fielded it. I don't see any metal shavings on it. It does look like there's some grease. That's not like metal shavings. That's just grease. Maybe my camera's not showing that really good. No big deals. Put that spring back on there. Easy there. I'm gonna keep this off to the side. The motors like to stick to everything. I might even move that off the table here soon. Now we gotta take the pistol grip off. Ooh, 4 screws. So you know they want to keep this thing attached. Why would they do that? I think one of the only other guns, maybe GMP does this. Not to compare these guys to GMP. Okay, I'm not saying it, but I'm a fan of most of the stuff so far. Those iron sights are garbage. Straight doo-doo. Hopefully you guys can kind of see this. I'm kind of trying to get in there and do this whatnot. I guess the wiring, I mean, it is wired to Dean's. Something I kind of find funny is they definitely use the cheaper Dean's connectors. We'll get to that in a second here. So there's just the 4 screws. Whatever, I'm going to set that off to the side. And what I mean by cheaper Dean's connector is if you've used real Dean's, it doesn't have these little lines for friction. I mean, these are nice, but the real Dean's connectors use... Let me grab one. The real Dean's connectors, they're more red. Like, see how this one looks bleached? The real ones are just smooth. Like this. And then, if you want to see the other side of them, it's like this. This is my FPV goggles. But, I mean, that's what that should look like if it was a real Dean's. So they're using the Chinese off-brand ones, which, hey, you know, they work. I use them all the time, but some people report some sort of issues. I kind of like the little ridges here. It kind of helps you pull the battery apart and whatever, but just something to note if you're like a real stickler about it, I guess. The wire, it doesn't appear to be anything special off the bat, but I mean, it fires. It didn't get hot on me, which I liked. Something interesting going on here. It looks like they got a special chase for the wires to stay out of the way. I'm kind of a fan of that. I don't think I've seen that before, so that'd be cool to get into here in a second. It looks like they route the wires around so that it can't get struck by the pinion gear, which, I mean, nobody does when they are building their first MOSFET, right? You guys got to run the wires from the trigger contacts, and nobody does that. Okay, it is big hammer time. It's just a rubber mallet. I'm going to move this off to the side. I mean, I could be just hammering and denting it like I was, but I'm going to move it over here for a second. What? Okay, I'm going to try to pop out the middle one here. I'm going to shim this underneath here. I'm going the wrong way on this, boys. Sometimes I think... Yeah. I always install them backwards. Like, I don't know what this is. Every airsoft place does this. See these little things that kind of create friction there? Friction in my life. They always put them in on this side, but I think both these pins should go out the same way. That's just me. So that's how I always reinstall them. Now let's see if I can pop this big boy out. What are you hanging on to so tight for? Well, he's moving. He's moving. Let's see if I can maybe rock the gearbox and caress it out. 4. Oh, there she goes. Right into my lipo bag. The bane of my existence. Okay, I'm getting this back because I don't like to lose parts, so I'm gonna pull it all on my batteries. This isn't some weird flex. This is just me pulling my... See, there it is. Found it. Okay, now you boys go back in the hole. I'm just gonna start losing stuff. I'm moving my hop-up pieces around. I mean, I just happened to have my lipo bag right there because I knew I was gonna like do a quick little test fire video. Hey, look, the gun works. I'm gonna go and do it and prove it. You know, whatever it is, whatever's going on in here. I mean, the fun part's gonna be putting back together, but I ain't making a video for that crap unless people really want one. Then I'll have to take it apart again because it'll already be together by the time I ask you guys. I ain't got time for that. Okay, look at that receiver. There's a little bit of paint transfer. I took some better pictures, and it seems decent for the most part. There's a little bit of wiggle in this trigger guard. Nothing so special, really. Seems alright. I mean, it's aluminum. It's really light. There's some scratching right there. Whatevs. No big deal. I don't know why they bother with that like fake little dimple. That makes sense to me. It's not doing anything. Why waste your time? Why give me a spot I can put dirt? Whatever. It looks realistic. Who cares? Yeah, look at that. I found a friend. Okay, bye-bye, big hammer. So this is the gearbox. Looking pretty fantastic. We got the quick release spring. Oh, makes this a lot easier. Oh, look at that. So they say they got stainless, let's see here, aluminum steel bushings for long-term. This is a bearing. That's not a bushing. A bearing on the other side as well. I would like all one or the other. That's me. I know some people will do something similar to this, but that's kind of weird to me. I'd rather have all one or the other. And I mean, I run HP on all my stuff. I like lower maintenance. I feel like bearings fail. There's more moving parts. You got a shaft versus a bushing versus all these little ball bearings. And oh, let's see. I'm gonna, before I get too far into this and too far carried away, I'm gonna start seeing if we got much wiggle in these. How well it's shimmed. When the dentist pushes on your teeth. And god damn, this is probably, there's a tiny bit of play. Barely any. Let's see here. What do I gotta do to get this tab? I think I have to take that out to get the tapper plate off without doing that weird breaky thing we all do. You know, you slide it to here and you break the last little bit because it doesn't really matter. I don't want to break it though. I gotta trust that. There's no, I mean, I'm pushing on that. I mean, I can't push on. It seems like it's shimmed pretty decently. Seems better than any gun I've gotten into. G&G combat machines, GMP. There's always a little bit of play, but this thing's got like nada. I don't know what that's about. I didn't even like tell them I was like gonna do a review on their shit. I'm just like, I'm gonna order this gun, and then all of a sudden the dude's like, oh yeah, how do you want me to do your engraving? And I'm like, just make it work, dude. And they did a good job, I think. The eyebrows on the engraving on the snake are a little bit whatever. That's what he was concerned about though. But like, I think he did a good job, despite, you know, whatever. I didn't give him a special vector file or nothing crazy. I'm just like, make it work, bro. I want to see what he'd come up with. Okay, you know what, spring guy can hang out there. Actually, let's talk about this. This is a piece. I just noticed, hey, look, it's got a bearing. Look at that. It spins. It's metal. Quick change. That's cool. Look at that. That's kind of neat. Spring. It's pretty beefy spring. Got a little taper on the shaft here. Looks like it comes apart so you can take apart and get to the bearing if there's an issue. It looks like the whole shaft here rotates. I haven't had one like this. I put like the bearing on there, I guess. Or maybe. Seems alright. Seems on point. Metal bearings, spring shaft guide thing. Now we get into it. I'm getting a little impressed with this gun. Getting a little turned down, you know, nothing big. All I can think of is like, for anyone who watches Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you know what I'm talking about. I want to turn you on. Patty's Pub. Oh, that's Patty's thong. My bad, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you gotta fill this emptiness with some chit chat. I could fast forward through this and you wouldn't hear anything, but then would it really be an unedited video, right? Speed up through the whatever bits. God, it seems like they did their homework on this. I just that bearing pisses me off. I'm like an all of one or another, and I know some of you guys run a bearing on one side and a bushing on the other, and I'm just like, no. You either run the one thing or the other, which they did. They got them both on each side, which I mean, I guess I'm okay with. I'm gonna try to keep the. Look at my punch. You guys just take a moment to appreciate how curvy and bendy that is. Oh. Okay. So I'm gonna try to keep the gears down by pushing them as I pop this gearbox off. Not like it's gonna explode on me or anything crazy. There goes my 24-inch screwdriver. Okay, no shims, one shim. This is on the bottom gear. I like the shimming, so I'm gonna try to keep it some factory. Yeah. So the shell doesn't look like it's over greased, which is a sight for sore eyes. These bushings are pretty pushed in here pretty good. They're not gonna pop. I wanted to pop one out but I don't feel like punching it out. It's a bushing. It's a you know what it does. You know what it do. Okay. So getting into it. So yeah, there's that little metal tab I was talking about right here that you can kind of tuck the wires underneath here, it appears, to kind of keep them from getting in the way of your pinning. I like that. I think I've seen that on one other gearbox. I can't remember the brand. Let's see here. I am going to just gonna manually spin the gears here for a second to try to so I can test for compression right after the round, right off the bat. I mean, I guess they don't have everything. Oh no, Shimothy. Okay, I'm gonna get that tappet plate out of here. That's kind of in the way. This is pretty much everything I would normally throw into a gun. I mean, this black spring looks kind of neat. Looks like maybe a higher, tighter spring, something. I don't know if that's upgraded. I don't know. I mean, we'll see here. So I'll try to get this. Okay, I think I'm just not getting it flat because it's kind of acting like a gas spring. I think this has got good air seal. This definitely looks like a SHS piston. That looks familiar, doesn't it, boys? Let's check the AOE here before I get too carried away. But it looks like they mostly just greased. I'm wondering if they almost used the same grease on the gears, because the gears just look dry. But I'm a dry guy. I don't put much on my gears because I think people overloop the crap. Oh, yeah, that's got compression. As soon as I move my finger. Okay, let's just check AOE quick. Factory AOE. I mean, it's kind of your standardness, isn't it? Somewhere in there. Doesn't look anything special. I'm trying to look at my GoPro here and see. That looks like we're getting a good picture there. But I mean, I'm looking at the piston teeth here because we did put quite a few rounds, maybe 1,500 rounds through it. Just want to see if I can see any abnormal wear. Oh yeah, a little bit. Maybe that's just mostly grease. Yeah, it's just how the grease is spread out. I don't really see any significant wear. I'm gonna set the piston off to the side. I do like that piston. Blue's my favorite color, so I'm just look at this. I'm a sucker for this. What's that about? What is rattly? Uh-oh. Is this loose? What is rattly in there? What's that? Why? It looks like it's tight. The screw in here is tight, but it seems like whatever's in there, that's the other end of the spring guide. I'm sure it's just supposed to rotate and junk. Let's check. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. I'm such a noob, yeah. Oh my god, guys. I almost freaked the fuck out over nothing. Okay. Let's check this guy. Huh? Yeah, definitely got an O-ring in there. You guys see that? It's got an O-ring. So when they say O-ring, a lot of guns don't come with a factory O-ring on the inside here. That's good. I mean, it's not good that it doesn't, but it's good that this gun does. That just seals the air. This is another spot. You're shooting air from this cylinder out this tube. So when the piston comes in and goes, you're not hissing air out on between the shaft and this piece. I mean, you can kind of grease it like crazy. I mean, it's definitely holding air. I'm pushing on it. If I let go, it'll finally kind of go in. That's good. I'm just gonna keep that on there. I'm gonna try